This week on Gran Turismo Daily Race A, I go for a spin in a very hard car. Daily Race B, I try to avoid all the crashing at Suzuka. And in Daily Race C, I scare Huggy as we race at Brands Hatch. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gran Turismo Weekly Race Guide, now in 2025. So it's week 1 of the year and a bit of an interesting week this week. First up in the background, we're in the Mercedes-Benz W196R, the classic Mercedes that has recently been added to Gran Turismo 7. Now at Trail Mountain, we're doing 3 laps, rolling starts, sport soft tyres, and DR updates are off, so you don't have to worry about your drive rating going up or down, because this car is very hard to drive fast. It really is. Now some of you, in fact I imagine quite a lot of you, will not like this race one bit. So there are some timestamps there for you to jump to Daily Race B or Race C if you want to check those out. But I do all 3 races, as you are very well aware. So stick with me and find out if it is really for you or maybe not. Anyway, in terms of the key statistics then, we've used this track 13 times. We've never used this track and car combo before. And we last used this track on the 2nd of December. So, in terms of the issues, it's a very hard car to drive this one. Extremely hard, in fact, as you're about to witness in this race. Let's jump to it then and let's have a look at exactly what happens. Here we are then at the start of the first one. We've got Jay-Z in pole position. Arkish down in P11, who you can check out on YouTube. And giving Gran Turismo a round of applause because we all started a straight line at Trail Mountain on a rolling start, which doesn't normally happen. Anyway, we're going to head towards turn number 1 here. Apologies if I sound a little bit groggy. I'm full of a cold, but even so, this weekly race guide's got to come out, and I'm doing this for you guys. So into turn 1 we go, just allowing the car to roll through the corner a little bit here. Make sure we don't get too much understeer. Blue Racer gets a bit of oversteer then, which turns into understeer for the left-hander, and we're already up into P6 then. So we're going to fast forward a little bit here, catching up to Booming up ahead. In towards the right we go. And continue on through. Blue Racer gets a really good run through there. Gets along my outside as we go into this left hand. I'm keeping it nice and tight here, but look at Blue Racer go round the outside. I've got to give some room on the exit there, and that's exactly what I do. And Blue Racer is now up into P6. I wanted to come back there, trying to come back in here, and then I realised Max Power's there, so I'm going to have to give Max Power a bit of room, and Max Power's going to benefit from this slipstream then as we head down towards the baggy boy of Trail Mountain, shall we call it? I'm not actually sure what we're going to call this corner in the future. Max Power down the inside of Blue Racer then. We're now back into P8. And we continue on through there then. Hoping to get a look on the inside of Blue Racer, but Blue Racer's got an excellent exit there as we go up here. Looking for the dead tree trunk on the left-hand side. There it is, hard on the brakes, and everybody absolutely everywhere here. We're going to go around the outside here of Booming. And that's my goal as we continue on through here. And the gear changes is critical here. You just saw that with Booming. Booming was 2nd to 3rd. I stayed in 3rd. I did not lose out. Booming did, and we go up to P7 then. Up ahead, there's still a lot of fighting going on. A really quality delivery on the German car up ahead as we go into the braking zone here. Looking down the inside. Very dangerous to send it in these particular cars as we go over to the left-hand side. Then there's also somebody on there. Who is that? I have no idea. Hopefully it's not some like crazy person and I've just absolutely caused a lot of insult, but from the back at least, you know, it looks interesting in terms of a livery. We're going to continue on all the same here alongside them. We're revving the car out then as we head towards turn 1. I want to get ahead of him before that. That's a Frank suddenly slowing up there. Maybe a technical issue. I'm not too sure as we go up to P4 here. And what we're actually going to do is advance towards the next lap because nothing really happens. I really am trying to chase Max Power and Blue Racer up ahead. Now, did you notice there? I went off the circuit. All 4 wheels off the circuit. Now, you may not notice that because of the way the camera angles are. They're the same on every car. However, this car is really small and really thin. So, I did go all 4 wheels off at that turn. As once I accelerate through here, the whole car decides to overstay. You see me there trying to catch it. Do I catch it? Yes, I do. Luckily for Mario Sonic there, I was a ghost. I do catch it. No, Arkies goes on, but I reckon it was Arkies actually. Just pressing a button saying spin Tidge so I can get on the camera again. Now, I know what's going on there, Arkies. I do. Anyway, we continue on here through the left-hander. We stay ahead of the German's car behind. What we're going to do is advance towards the end because nothing changes here. And this is what's going to happen in a large portion of races, I think, is the fact that the grid is going to really spread out and you're not going to have much racing. But even so, Blue Racer and Max Power had a good old ding-dong there. So, some racing, maybe. It's a bang average. I put it at 5 out of 10 in the grand scheme of it. Arguably, it might even be a bit less, but obviously with my scoring system, it comes out at 5 out of 10. If you're looking to do this, though, let me tell you how to do it. I spent a lot of time on this lap this morning because I was wondering how Holland had gone so fast. But even so, going in towards turn 1, on the right side, we've got the Armco going to Tyre. That is what I use as a marker here, a little brake marker. You can use the tenths on the left. I normally use them, but I'm using that on the right because we have to brake early here. We brake early, we chuck the car in. So when we get to around 120, I release the brakes, and I'm trying to maintain the speed then. I lift off a little bit for the crest of the hill to get over towards the right side, lift off again to get the car going towards the left, and accelerate through the corner. Really hard to do that really fast. Can I just say that? Really hard to do that really fast. Very easy to carry some speed, but to nail a lot is difficult. Now, the tyre wall going back to Armco on the right side is your brake marker. I'm actually braking just before that, and I'm going to stay in third gear. Now, I did watch Holland's replay afterwards, and he drops a second, but you can do this in third gear, so don't panic too much about changing gear constantly. So I'm in third gear. I accelerate through the corner. Be careful power oversteer as we hit the crest of the hill. Very common here. And the start of the curb on the left-hand side is really my reference marker. I've highlighted the stone as well if you are looking to use the stone rather than the curb. But I think the curb is a good brake marker. I'm heading over towards the left-hand side. The earlier you brake, the little bit better it's going to be because you're going to want the car to keep stabilized. You want to turn in. Remember, you can keep it nice and tight there because this car is so thin. The camera is very deceiving. We accelerate through there on the left-hand side. The end of the curb on that left, that is literally our brake marker. Or just before we get to that, in fact. So we're going to dab the brakes and chuck it over. So I'm aiming to try and keep 70 miles an hour on this right-hander. So that's a little bit of a target apex speed you can look for here. And that's what I'm going to do on this particular one, hopefully. So there we go. Oh, I dropped 68 there. But I want to stay on the right side of the road as well, not the left-hand side. So just keep that in mind. Now we get towards the tunnel where you got the warning sign. That is a tunnel. Believe it or not, can you not see? We've got the electrical box and an arrow. Also telling you it's a left-hander coming up. They are your markers for this left-hander. Now you're going to dab the brakes and turn in. And you want to maintain as much speed as you humanly can. Notice 72 was my apex speed. And then I really put my foot to the floor. Now I actually clip the wall there. But it doesn't slow me down too much because I really had to carry a lot of speed. And that's where it's critical in this car. Carrying the speed is how you get the lap time. So as we approach this left-hander, the start of the curb, we're braking that early. Obviously, it's an old car. To stop the car, it's going to take a little bit longer distance. Makes all sense to me. The start of the curb there is my brake marker. Again, I'm dropping to third gear here. I'm going to start to release the brakes before I get to the rock. And that rock is both the making sure I am not braking anymore, and arguably, I really should start accelerating any moment now. That is what that marker is there for, so I'm just highlighting that to you. It's essentially your apex. Right, there it is. Big old rock. And we're going to try and start accelerating. There it is. Third gear. Accelerate out of the corner. Head over towards the left-hand side very quickly indeed. Give yourself a nice run for this ride. Remember, you are revving the car to the limit. And as we approach the top of the hill, I was using the dead tree. However, if you can spot that cone is the perfect brake marker. I was using the tree as a distance marker. So obviously when I get to this point, I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I'm braking before I get to that tree. I'm braking here. But that cone on that left-hand side, beautiful marker if you can spot it. In towards the right we go then, staying in third gear, start to accelerate as early as I can. Remember, accelerating in this car also gives it a bit of rotation if you've never used it before, so obviously you won't remember, but I'm just telling you that. On the left-hand side, we've got a big old rock. That is your brake marker for this left-hander. Go for a later apex on this one. Quite often, I was turning in too early for this corner, and it caused me to understeer on the exit. A later apex is a better one. Notice here, I'm staying well out wide, and then coming in very late to then accelerate through the corner. Keeps the car stable because I'm turning less. And carry a bit more speed, and it's just a better overall lap. Now, this final brake marker, I've highlighted the start of the curb, but I wasn't using that. I was using that tree on top of the hill. There's a gap, and then you've got that first tree there. Literally, as it disappears off my screen, that's when I'm going to hit the brake. So it's just after the start of the curb, just as the top of the tree disappears, and you're about to watch that now. There we go, hard on the brake, second gear. You want to keep this nice and tight for the first part. Over towards the left-hand side we go. Then accelerate. We're going to short shift to third gear. Gives us some stability. And remember, gear changes are key in this car, so it doesn't delay the throttle then in terms of acceleration with that gear delay change. That's 201.9, but a fair play to Holland and anyone in the 201s. It's quite a difficult lap to do, if I'm brutally honest with you. We've jumped to daily race speed then, where we're in Group 3 machinery that you can already see in the background. And we're at Suzuka, if you don't recognize those S's. We're doing 5 laps. It's a rolling start on a racing medium tyres, and you can adjust the brake balance in these cars. Now, I chose BMW M6 for this particular race. That's what I'm going to use. But for the time trial lap, I'm using a previous lap, which was done in a Lamborghini Huracan. This track has been used 20 times. Its track car combo has been used multiple times. It's in the top 10 used combos. Of course it is. It's Suzuka Group 3. And we last used this track on the 11th of November. It's quite slippy here, and turn 1 weight transfer can be an issue if you're in an MR car. keep that in mind anyway when you're racing. We'll jump into this one now, as you can see at the hairpin, lots of side-by-side, and let's have a look at all of the action, including a crash. Here we are then at the start. We've got a Nissan on pole, a Mercedes-AMG by Hoggy there, as we jump straight into this one then in the BMW M6. If you're enjoying this, as always, do give it a like and do subscribe to the channel. Stay in touch with all the latest content. I do appreciate all the support here on the channel. If you like it, it tells me you enjoy this content, and I will keep making this content. In towards turn 1 we go. The Porsche up ahead of Pill, just getting it slightly wrong in towards turn 1 as we continue on through here. And look who's alongside us here. It's Max Power as we go into the left-hander. Disco Stu just got that slightly wrong. Captain Stupendous there, but look at it, side by side still here as we go into the next one. Brilliant racing so far there. Max Power in that Audi R8, looking to try and get past it. Look at Captain Stupendous though, does maintain position as we go into this left-hander. I've got nowhere to go. Max Power though, round the outside. Oh, what a move that is there. That's a brilliant move there. Max Power, well played with that one as we continue towards Lesmo 1. And no, it's not Lesmo 1 at all. It's Degna 1 and Degna 2. That was last week, Tidge with Monza. Oh, what a weapon. Anyway, through the right we go then as we continue on through here and head up towards the hairpin. Max Power just on the circuit there with 2 wheels as we head in towards this braking zone. Now, plebs of the week. You may have seen the first episode. You may not have seen the first episode. If you haven't, check the video at the end of this one. It will be linked there. And if you want to submit your clips, check out the description for the form. And remember, plebs of the week is funny moments, dodgy penalties, and dodgy driving as well that you may encounter. Of course, this is so I can see what's going on, and if there is anything dodgy going on, maybe I can help. I don't know. Anyway, let's back to this race where I'm side by side with Max Power once again, which is always good. We had some good fun earlier on in this lap. And we're heading towards the 130R. I highly advise you don't do this, folks, but I'm going to try go side by side with Max Power. I assume Max Power anticipated I would do that. Unfortunately, Max Power goes off there. Just I can't even think of the word. Mismanaged that corner. Oh, we got a spinner there, and we've got a Ferrari over towards the right-hand side, so we'll have a look at that one in the bloopers as to what happened. Misjudged. That was the word I was looking for. I blame the cold. Right, we continue on here, right behind Booming then, in P10 at the moment, looking for P9 then. As we go towards the right-hand side, we had a bit of a run in the slipstream. And once again, going in side by side, in towards turn 1. I highly recommend you don't try this. However, I give it a go. I make it work. We go to P9. Pill there, going all sorts. Well, going all over the place in that Porsche. Once again, it's 2 for 2 so far for Pill in towards turn 1. And we're catching very quickly there as the stability of the Porsche not really working out. Usually that car is very stable. Not so much at the moment then as we go into the right-hander here. I think that was an apology in chat if you saw the bubble behind my head then. Right, through the left we go, and you can see Pill just got it slightly wrong here, so I was hoping to get the run out this corner, but I had a little bit of a wiggle, and I didn't get that run as we continue towards Degna 1, Tidge, not Lesmo 1, Degna 1, and in we go then, as you can see Pill just struggling still in that Porsche. This combo, I don't know why this time in particular, feels very slippy. It really does. I don't know if that relates to the race C, because I do this after race C, the day of race B. Hey, coming into this corner, I did hear them oversteer and start crashing. So I hit the brakes very late there to try and avoid it. Fortunately, the ghosting system saved me. Well, I'll look exactly what happened, of course, in the bloopers. But I'm up to P8 now, and of course up to the next Porsche of Greenland as we go through this left-hander. Round the outside. I don't do that very often, and you see my reaction there in the webcam. But hey, we're up into P7 now. Let's continue on. Let's see where we can end up. So, a lap later, we're now coming up to Laurenti, also in a Porsche. Everyone's in a Porsche today, apparently. So, we're going to head towards Degna 1 then. Onto the brakes we go. Clip the curb on the inside. Keep it nice and stable. Slow the car down for the second one. Accelerate through this corner very quickly. Unfortunately, the Porsche losing the rear end there. We get along the inside then. It's going to be easy pickings towards the hairpin, as this is normally the defensive line. It could be my attacking line today as we get it stopped. Slight tap from the rear. Nothing I can do about that one. And we're now up into P6. Well, let's advance further on then. Lap number 5. We're behind faster DXB. And we want to get P5. Get out this cursed position, as we always call it. It's Steve's curse, of course, as we head into the braking zone. So I was looking on the inside. Not going to quite work here versus that GTR as we go into the second part of Spoon then. Slowing the car down. Get it rotated. Start to accelerate. Be careful of that power oversteer that can happen in this BMW M6. Now, why am I going towards the left? Why am I not in the slipstream? Well, I'm trying to judge it accordingly so I can have a massive run into the chicane. That was my plan, at least, here, and that's why I'm staying out of the slipstream. So, we're looking for the 50 board, turn in. There we go. Look at that for a run and a half. There it is. We're so close, and they go towards the left. We go into the brakes, and then they turn right there, and I wasn't too happy with that one, if I'm brutally honest with you, because that was moving under braking. Obviously, you can make your first move, and then you went towards the racing line, so you can't then turn when I'm already on the inside. Just felt a bit naughty. We'll have a look at that one in the bloopers, though, just to clarify whether there was any right turning or not, whether I misinterpreted. As we continue then towards the line, I did wait for Max Power to go by and wait for a gap in the traffic. We come home in P9. But yeah, it did feel like movement under braking there. And they finished P3 in the end due to another incident that we did not see. And we'll also check that one out in the bloopers as well. 5.5 out of 10 for this one. Once again, all the details for these scores are put in a pinned comment by the end of Monday. At some point on Monday afternoon, once the video has released, I can then put the comment in. We're in the Lamborghini for this one. This lap isn't on the leaderboard at the moment. This was done previously. But as we head in towards turn 1, what you're looking for here is the 50 or that piece of tarmac. Now, I use this brake marker in the Lamborghini, in the BMW M6. It's just how I brake in towards turn 1, which is the critical part. In the Lamborghini, you've got to be a bit more safe. In the BMW, you could be a bit more aggressive. Just keep in mind that there is going to be weight transfer there, even in the BMW. Notice there, I'm really focused on the brakes, making sure the car stays nice and stable as I continue onto the exit. Over towards the right-hand side, and then chuck it left. So I dab the brakes there. You don't have to do that. You can just lift here, but I'm using the brakes there to maximize the speed and time of the lap. Remember, just lift if you are struggling with Group 3 at Suzuka in the S's. Just lift on each one and let the car roll through the corner. The only curb I'm really interested in is this one on the right towards the end of the S's. That's where I do dab the brakes and look to slow the car down. I like a nice tight line for this corner, okay? So usually I drop down in towards the 70s sort of mile an hour area. Let's see what happens here. 78. Huracan a bit better in terms of handling then. So through the left we go. You are going to have to lift a little bit as you go through that left-hander. But now we can settle the car down and head towards Tidgney 1. In terms of Tidgney 1, there are a couple of brake markers you can use. You can use the 50 board if you want in terms of a distance marker. However, the lamppost on the right is a really good brake marker. Literally, as it hits the edge of your screen, you can hit the brakes and then force the car through here. So you want to stay above 100 miles an hour for Tidgney 1. It's kind of critical you do that. As you see there, just 100 miles an hour. Now, if you do hit the curb the wrong way, a lot of cars will spin out, so just be careful of that curb in Tidgney 1. For Tidgney 2, on the left-hand side, is a Marshall tent that I'm highlighting right there. Really obvious and clear brake marker. Once it hits the edge of your screen on chase cam, or about there on, there on chase cam, on bumper cam, it's very much the edge of your screen. You want to clip the inside curb at Tidgney 2 and just boot out the corner. Be careful the exit. The outside can be a bit slippy, so if you can clip the curb on the inside, usually you don't touch the slippy stuff on the outside. Towards the hairpin then, the end of the curb on the right side is your brake marker for this hairpin. Nice and easy, brake in a straight line, then look to rotate the car through the corner and just boot it out the corner as fast as you can. Let's see that in the work then. So there we go. We release the brakes, get it turned, and start to accelerate as early as possible. Now, in some of the front-engine rear-wheel drive cars, like the BMW M6, you may suffer some power oversteer on the exit, so just be careful, okay? This Lamborghini is mid-engined rear-wheel drive, so the weight is over those rear tyres. For Spoon then, just before the 50 board, we've got that escape road there. That is your brake marker for Spoon. Now, because we're on the racing medium tyres, we're braking that little bit earlier here. And what we're going to do is look to carry the speed through here. So we just clip the curb out towards the outside of Spoon. Before the end of the curb there on the right, I have to be off that curb. If I'm even remotely close to it, I'm going to clip the slippy stuff and go for a spin. So I make sure I get back off that curb very quickly and head towards the inside. The second part of Spoon is kind of critical because there's a long acceleration period. So you're looking to get the rotation and accelerate as early as possible. So if you are struggling for lap time here, make that corner particularly a priority to get right. You will gain some time there. 130R, okay, on the right side, we have the 50 board. That is your lift off, chuck it in marker. Now, some cars, you have to lift off less. In some others, you have to lift off a lot. It depends on the car you pick in Group 3. It's why I can do different races in different cars. But I'm using the 50 board there, chuck it in. I like to try and maintain 148 mile an hour in most cars. If a car could do 148 through there, it's usually a good car and one that you can pick. So the Casio triangle, the chicane, the final chicane here, the yellow line on the right-hand side is your brake marker. That's what I use. You want to brake in a straight line all the way to the outside. And the only thing you really have to be careful of in the chicane are the curves. The curves can cause your car to bounce in really weird ways. So I cut the first part, I start accelerating, and then it's slow acceleration, get the car straight, and then boost it towards the line. Head over towards the inside of the circuit. You'll just get a little bit more time there at the end of the lap, and that's a 58.4. 57 is definitely possible here. So just keep an eye out. And look at this. I'm in a Lamborghini again for Daily Race C. Specifically, the Huracan Group 4 car. We're doing 11 laps here at Brands Hatch Grand Prix layout. Rolling start. Races soft tyres. But there is a pit stop that is mandatory. ×5 fuel, ×3 tyre wear. And you can adjust the suspension on this as well as the brake balance. Now, I chose the Lamborghini Huracan because it's always a good car here, but it's not necessarily the meta here this week. We've used this track 10 times, 6 times for this combination. It is a top 10 used combo, currently joint 5th, and we last used this track on the 23rd of September. Got a bit of an awkward pit lane, which we will look into, as well as the turn 1 being a bit iffy in quite a lot of cars. It really likes to come out, especially on this Lamborghini. Without further ado then, let's jump into this one and let's have a look at all the racing action, as well as the strategy I choose, which is a different one. Here we are then with that final race. We've got Genesises, or Geni should we call them, P1, P2, P3, P4. As a mixture of cars here, this is the first race of the day, of course, so everyone's not too sure. And if you are liking this video, make sure you do give it a like, subscribe to the channel, stay in touch with all the latest content. As we head in towards turn 1, the Citroen there of Jay-Z just gets on the inside of Disco Stu. We're 3 wide heading in towards Druidson. And we're going to keep it nice and tight here. That's my plan. And we get 2 for 1 on the hairpin. I like that. I'll take those. As we head towards the left-hander, looking to slow the car down. In we go. Citroen had a little bit of a whisper at my rear bumper there. We continue towards Diggle Dell then, and then through the right-hander. Here we go. El Diablo Racer up ahead. Also in a Lamborghini here as we slow it down. Now, Lamborghini was very much the top of the leaderboards very early. However, that has changed since. I've seen a Supra up there. I've seen Megane trophies up there. I nearly chose a Megane trophy this morning. We're on the inside of El Diablo, though. In towards the right we go. Looking to try and make this work. A little bit of a wiggle mid-corner, and El Diablo keeps that position. Well played to El Diablo then. I'm going to head towards turn number 1, paddock kill, which can be very iffy as we go into this right-hander. Look at that. A little bit of oversteer then. Very easy for that to happen in the Lamborghini, and I imagine most people aren't going to pick this car this week just due to that. In towards the right we go again, so we're up another place here. P10 at Brands Hatch, a circuit where you can't normally overtake that much. However, because we're in Group 4 machinery, you can at least have a race. As we see up ahead there, the Austrian on the inside on Metal 8 Racer in that 4C. We go over towards the right-hand side then, looking to try and get this one done around the outside. Do we get it done? Oh, a little bit of an iffy overtake, but we'll take that. Up into P9. The Austrian up next, X12 R13. Not sure what that stands for as we continue on through here. Again, oversteer moments. Oh, somebody else off there. Well, oversteer moments in paddock, very common. And we are now up into P7. Then we've got Bembo up ahead. We've got Huggy as well. So we advance to the end of lap 3 here. We've got Never Quit 69 as well up ahead. We get a good run here on Bembo, though, as we leave that corner. I love this Lamborghini for its handling. It is so good at handling. It felt so nice as we head towards turn number 1. This way it can get sketchy, though. Through the right we go. Look at it. Side-by-side action. Beautiful racing there with Bembo. Absolutely superb. You see me smiling there. That's what I love in Gran Turismo when you get racing like that. It's just so nice. Well played to Bembo as well. That was awesome stuff. Ahead, Huggy and Never Quit 69 are having a good old ding-dong here. Huggy goes a bit deep there. Never Quit 69 is going to come back at Huggy then. Both in Genesis here as we go into the right. This is Hammond's worst nightmare, isn't it? Now, I didn't mean to bump draft Never Quit 69 rather than Huggy. Bearing in mind, Huggy is part of TCR. But it's just the way it was. I was trying to get the inside of them both. It didn't quite work out here. Never Quit 69 defending from Huggy. Huggy now on the inside as we head up here. I break early. Bembo broke early as well. See what was happening up ahead. Good awareness there as we continue on through here. And we're now on the outside of Never Quit 69 as we head towards the final corner on the outside. We're going to try and beat this as quick as we can to try and maintain position. Beautiful race once again. Superb stuff there. Well played, Never Quit 69 as we head towards turn number 1. So we're up into P5 now. Now, some of you are probably going, Tidge, why don't you pit? You know, you could save some time. Yes, you can save time. One of the biggest time sinks at Brands Hatch is actually having fights and battles as we get on the inside of Huggy. But I wanted to have some fun. And that's the point of Gran Turismo sometimes. It's just to have fun. So, yes, I could pit to get away from everybody. Or I could just have a race. And that's what I'm here to do, is have a race. So that's why I'm racing right now. Now, my strategy is I'm actually not going to change tyres on this one, whereas I believe everybody else will do. Now, scared Huggy into a mistake there as we continue on out to here. Definitely scared Huggy there. And look at this, we're up into P4. So if I wasn't going to change tyres, I really should pit on lap 1, get out of the traffic, and then fire away. But I didn't want to do that. I want to go through the field if I can, and then see where we end up at the very end. So that is my plan as we advance further on. Then lap number 6. Some people have already gone in the pits. Got a couple more going in now. Got Norman and who was that? Was that Myrosonic? Myrosonic in the pits. They're definitely changing tyres. Lap number 8, then we catch up to Muscafy then in their Genesis, and they're going to go into the pits as well. No idea whether they changed tyres or not, but now up into P1. So lap number 10 is obviously when I'm going to come in the pits then as we come into here. So with the pit entry, make sure you cut to the right-hand side. You can cut this without getting a penalty. Over towards the left, straight in, and I'm not going to change my tyres because I don't see any points. I'll just wave at the pit crew, and off we go again. So are we going to come out in the lead? That is the question. Yes, we are. Now, track position is kind of vital at Brands Hatch. It really is, which is why I've done this strategy. However, if you can make it work, you're going to try and make it work on the fresh tyres. And that's what Mario Sonic's going to try and do here. Now, I would recommend most people to change tyres. To pit, earlier on in the race, lap 7, lap 6, lap 5, lap 4 even. You can have some good racing at that point and maybe get the undercuts and overcuts. But look at this for a move. You can see my face there. I love this. Mario Sonic's done a superb move on me there. Got on the inside. Absolutely beautiful stuff there. Absolutely nailed it on the fresher tyres as well. So really used them to the maximum. And he's now in P1. But I don't give this up. I never give up. You know this one. So, last corner coming up. Last lap. Can we do it? Through there we go. No, we can't. And, fair play to Mario Sonic there. Beautiful racing from them. They pit earlier on in the race. Lap 6, I think it was from memory. And this race is a good race, in my opinion. It is a good race. It's got a 7 out of 10 this week. There's definitely some strategy there. Whether you don't want to change tyres because you want to escape the traffic, change tyres and have some racing. Change tyres definitely better, in my opinion. Not changing tyres is worse, and only some cars can do it. It's just up to you. It's nice strategy and racing all in one. So turn 1 then here, brake balance right hand side there down in that graphic, but on turn 1 left hand side, the 2 board and the marshal box. You're braking in the middle of these two, okay? Now in the Lamborghini, you're going to have to be exceptionally careful, or in most cars actually. So just release the brakes, then start to turn in. Try and carry 90 miles an hour through there, and then just boot it round as we head up towards Druids then. So on the left hand side, we've got the orange painted barrier, or red, depending on your monitor TV screen. Or up at the top, we've got the Palmer Sports sign there. Remember, the 100k special. Woo! It's right there. But even so, the Palmer Sport hitting the top of your screen, you can use that as a brake marker as well. So drop some gears here as you go into here. Keep it nice and tight, and then accelerate as early as possible. Then use all the curb on the exit over towards the right hand side. Then as we approach Graham Hill, you've got 2 markers here. Now I do sometimes use to start the curb in the middle of your screen, but you can also use the 1 board and the green on the right hand side. Now in the Huracan, I was actually using to start the curb, but it's quite deadly because if you're using it, you're going to aim towards it, and if you clip it, you're going for a spin. So just be careful of that. Over towards the left hand side, use all this curb on exit. You can use absolutely all of it. You'll be absolutely fine. I need to stop saying that word as we continue then towards this left-hander here. And we got the 1 board and the green on the barrier on the right. So for this one, you want to brake in a straight line. And as you release the brakes, then start turning. It's very easy because it's a long left-hander to try and brake and turn at the same time. But guess what? You're going to spin if you do that. So don't do that. Brake in a straight line. Notice that I start to release it. I drop to 2nd gear and then start to accelerate. Be careful of that curb, though, on the inside. It can force some understeer if you do hit it. Head towards Hawthorne's then. On the right side, we've got the red painted barrier, or orange, depending on the monitor colour, of course, that is showing. But on the right side there, that painted barrier there, brilliant marker. Now, I brake just after this in the Lamborghini. I dab the brakes and then turn in to try and keep the car nice and stable. Let the car roll a little bit. Try and maintain 100 miles an hour, and you should be absolutely spot on. We continue on towards the next brake marker, using the same thing, but only on the left-hand side this time, on that barrier right there. And easy marker here. I would recommend staying in whatever gear you're in most cars, because this is where the curb can unsettle a car very quickly, especially MR cars if you're in one of those. As I come into here, I'm going to clip the curb and then start to accelerate. Now, you can use quite a lot of that exit curb, and you can even touch the gravel a little bit and you'll be fine. So try and really push your limits there. That's where you can lose a lot of time at Brands Hatch. Through Dingledale, on the right side, we've got this 1 board, okay? That is my brake marker for this corner. You want to turn in even though you can't see the corner. Turn in, and you will make this corner absolutely fine. The later you turn, the less speed you will carry. Again, another critical corner to get right. Notice there, we turn in, we carry a lot of speed. Over towards the right-hand side we go then. And we've got marshals there. We got Rory and Steve. We'll put them there today then. I think someone's hiding as well there. Brian's there as well. So these marshals and that catch fence there, it's bigger than the rest. That is your brake marker. Very obvious on chase cam. So you're going to hit the brakes. This corner is cambered, so you want to use all of the inside as much as you can. Boot it out of there. You may abuse the curb and come back a little bit onto the track before it runs out, because it does go from wide to very small very quick. And the final corner, we've got the 1 board and the track meeting the Indy circuit. This is a distance marker, okay? So this means that I see them there. I brake at this point. If I brake after them, I'm definitely off. So I'm braking earlier here than those markers. They're just my reference. And I'm going to turn in. I'm being quite aggressive here because I need to get on the inside and boot out the corner. Lots of time to be gained there as well. Brand Touch is all about being aggressive on the throttle. If you can do that, you can get some very quick times. That's a 127.8 on a stock setup, I might add, before people ask what my setup is. We jump to the bloopers end on board Muscafi here as we go into the right-hander. Muscafi's going to start accelerating and unfortunately get a lot of wheel spin and then hit the barrier there. So that was unfortunate indeed, and is going to try and recover. Right, next up then, we go on board Francis Hank. What happened here then with Hank? So we're going to continue on. Just lifts off it, dabs the brake a little bit. So obviously struggling with something. Maybe had a phone call or something in real life. And unfortunately, that booming gets hit and goes towards the left-hand side there. So a crash. Hank's still trying to sort out whatever issue that is. Jump up board Captain Stupendous for daily race speed then as we head towards Casio Triangle. Oh, yeah, it's very late on the brakes here then. Nowhere to really go. Unfortunately, hits the Austrian, but does wait up for that driver. It's a good sportsmanship. Again, we all make mistakes. We really do. A 5-second penalty there. Pretty brutal, even though they're waiting. And Stupendous does wait up. Opposite pill then. So as we go through this right-hander on the inside right there, clips the grass. Quite a common mistake to happen at the hairpin. You can see there, I tried to get out of the way. Fortunately, the ghosting system saved me as we see an Italian round there as well. We'll have to have a look at what happens to the Italian. Here we go then. We're on board Jenna. So heading towards the hairpin here. This is going to be the exact same. It is indeed. Clipping that grass. You can see it's a common error. We've got two on the same lap in the same race. Very common error. So try and avoid that if you can. Obviously, that's a good overtaking spot as well at Suzuka as we see them trying to spin around here. Now, we did have an unfortunate incident later on in this race. So I'm on board, actually, Alex, who was the GTR. And I've zoomed in on the turn here on the red arrow. So what happens here then? So they go towards... Oh, I don't know, it's a little flinch when I've already gone down there. I don't know. I feel like there is a turn there when you see that I'm already down there, so it's a bit awkward, to be honest with you. It's not the greatest thing in the world. At that point, I would have just given space. Through the left we go then. Oh, side-by-side action at 130R. Quite incredible. Unfortunately, the recovery just causes a crash there. Aris gets reset here, and JC's actually going to wait up for them as well, so really good sportsmanship there. If you have enjoyed this video, as always, make sure you do give a like and subscribe to the channel. Stay in touch with all the latest content. Do check out those partners down below and use code Tidgney at checkout. And remember, Plebs of the Week. If you've not seen it, it's right there. Click it. It's a good fun watch. And if you want to submit your clips of dodgy driving or anything else this week, use the form in the description or in that video and they'll be submitted. Thank you as always, and I'll see you in another video live stream again very soon.